In this lab series circuit, we're going to start out by putting copper tape on these heavy black lines at the top. Any place you see a heavy black line, we'll put a copper tape over it, like we're doing here. Now here I messed up. I got a little gap on the right. I'm just going to bridge that with a piece of copper tape. And we want that to connect. And then I can put a couple of drops of solder on the connections if it makes sure it connects good. Next, we're going to put in a resistor with the soldering iron. So I put the resistor there where I want it. I want it about a third of the way in. And there I'm going to solder it. The solder gets hot and then it's going to cool. Whoops, it's not hot. Now it just cooled. It just cooled on us, so it grabbed it. Here I'm soldering the second leg. Now we're going to put in another resistor. I'll push it a little bit just to make sure it's connected. Here's a second resistor. I'm going to put my soldering iron right up to the wire and touch the wire and the copper, and then put a little bit of solder on there. You can see it smoke. So it's soldering it to the copper. Now if I need to take this resistor out later or move it, or if it comes loose, I can resolder it. Easy peasy. We just take a soldering iron and it's so easy to solder. Next, we're going to take a LED light, a light emitting diode, and it can only go in one direction. There's a positive leg and a negative leg, and the positive leg needs to go forward because the positive holes are coming from the left side. So I'm going to put that positive leg forward. If I flip this and I get the wires in a different order, it won't work. My circuit won't work. And all I have to do is unsolder it and flip it and resolder it. Now we're going to put a drop of solder down here on the end and another drop right next to it on the other foil. And this is a piece of solder, and I'm going to put the iron in the little puddle and wet the puddle that's on the copper strip and then drop the wire in. Try to do it the other way. Sometimes the little wire will break and you have to get another piece of solder. So this is going to act as a fuse. This is a safety fuse in case we put too much current in there or we get a short. This fuse will pop and keep the circuit good. Keep from destroying our nice circuit. Next, we're going to put in a little wire. I'm going to use this as a switch. This is optional, but I like to have a little switch. So I took a piece of wire and I stripped the ends, and then I'm going to solder one end to the copper strip. Next, we're going to have to break the connections. This is one long connection, this copper strip. I want the current to go through each of the components. So I'm taking a knife and I'm cutting a little diagonal thing between the legs of the resistors and the legs of the diode and right under the switch. And then I'm going to peel this tape a little bit. I'm breaking the connection of the copper tape here. Now if I want to reconnect any of these and bypass one of these resistors, all I have to do is solder across that break.